Global dominance. How the USA surpassed Russian in a century-long battle for supremacy. Most global politics historians agree that the rise of the Russia Empire ran parallel to that of the United States. But what set them apart? Despite the similar fascinating stories of these two superpowers with open and ever-moving frontiers, fast-growing populations, and scarcely tapped resources, there were some fundamental differences in their developments that led to the United States' eventual superiority. A major factor that has contributed to a nation becoming dominant is population size and composition. Between 1816 and 1860, the Russian Empire's population skyrocketed by 48%, from 51.2 million to 76 million. However, the United States left most nations in the dust, with a staggering 269% growth from 8.5 million to 31.4 million. The greater difference was in the nature of their relative populations. The USA had free individuals enjoying their homesteads or thriving in rapidly growing cities, except for the black slaves and the still relatively populous Indians, with a higher standard of living and national output compared to other countries. The cherry on top? Historically higher wages, a whopping 1/3 higher than Western Europe since 1800, which continued to rise throughout the century. What about the economy? As the Russian Empire began to stagnate, America's star rose to new heights, driven by a powerful economy fueled by a massive influx of European immigrants by the mid-1850s. The vast, open lands of the American West beckoned, and industrial growth surged forward like a mighty locomotive. All these together contributed to labor shortage and skyrocket wages, prompting manufacturers to invest in innovative labor-saving machines. This confluence of innovation and progress propelled the U.S. national productivity to unprecedented levels ahead of Russia. In a stunning reversal of fortunes, the United States was poised to surpass France in manufacturing output by 1860, having already left Germany and Russia in the dust. Despite having a population only 40% that of the Russian Empire, the U.S. urban population was a powerhouse, producing a staggering 830,000 tons of iron, more than double Russia's output. The U.S. was a behemoth of modern energy consumption, devouring 15 times more fuel than Russia and boasting a rail network 30 times larger and even a breathtaking 3 times that of Great Britain. The relative neighborhoods also shaped their advancements to global power. A 19th century Europe was a complex web of power struggles and imperial ambitions. Meanwhile, a young United States, shielded by the vast Atlantic Ocean, remained relatively isolated from these conflicts. The Britain Royal Navy's cordon sanitaire effectively cordoned off the Old World from the New, protecting America from European interference. A sanitary cordon, of the French phrase, restricts movement into or out of a defined area, ensuring the separation of the two worlds. Then, there was the Monroe Doctrine, enunciated by President James Monroe in 1823. This pivotal policy warned European powers against colonizing or interfering in the Americas, with the U.S. ready to defend its territory against any hostile acts. In reality, it was the Royal Navy's might that safeguarded America from invasions and war entanglements, rather than the doctrine itself. More so, the then world's dominant power, Britain, influenced the USA's destiny, unlike Russia's tumultuous path. Beyond the scars of 1776 and 1812 and the simmering border dispute in the U.S. Northwest, a full-blown Anglo-American war was averted. Why? The answer lies in the strong economic bonds between the two nations. British capital and manufactured goods flowed into the United States, while American raw materials, particularly cotton, flowed back. This reciprocal exchange fueled American economic growth, intertwining their economies and paving the way for a prosperous partnership, thereby averting any potential conflict between them. Another factor to consider is where the U.S. and Russia invested. Against the backdrop of 19th century power struggles, the United States capitalized on its unique position of strategic security, funneling resources into economic development instead of defense. Unlike Russia, which invested heavily in protecting its borders from European rivals, the U.S. was free to channel its own funds, along with British investments, into unlocking its vast economic potential. Even the conflicts with Native Americans and the 1846 war with Mexico failed to significantly drain its coffers, allowing the nation to focus on growth and prosperity. As the war drums began to beat in April 1861, the United States stood poised on the brink of a devastating civil war. Yet beneath the surface, a behemoth was stirring. Despite its physical distance from Europe, focus on internal development, and the unforgiving landscape of its vast wilderness, the nation had quietly emerged as an economic powerhouse, hiding in plain sight. This sleeping giant was about to awaken, and the world would never be the same. Summary: the United States was on the cusp of a transformation, poised to surpass the Russian Empire in power and influence. By 1860, the U.S. military consisted of a modest 26,000 men, dwarfed by Russia's massive force of 862,000. But change was brewing. The outbreak of the U.S. Civil War in 1861 marked a turning point, as Americans redirected their national resources towards military might that will soon confirm their dominant status as the ominous clouds of two devastating world wars loomed on the horizon. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in the global balance of power towards the United States of America. Explore more mind-blowing content. Thank you for watching. We've got a treasure trove of intriguing videos waiting for you on this channel. Dive in and discover new favorites, then subscribe for a constant stream of fresh surprises. Lessons Untold. Relax, review, reflect.